Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen, and today I'm gonna be in the kitchen jazzing it up with some of my all-time Cajun favorites. First of all, I'm gonna be having an authentic New Orleans Jambalaya with all the southern flavors like shrimp, smoked sausage, and for goodness sakes, don't forget the spices. Then I'm gonna heat this meal up with some ragin' Cajun Seafood Balls. And even the dessert's gonna be on fire, y'all, with an old classic, Bananas Foster. You know, I think this meal just might chase away anybody's blues. So don't go away, y'all, because we fixing to go down to the bayou, and we gonna eat like it's Fat Tuesday. Hey y'all, welcome to my pantry. You caught me in here looking for some different things that I can use for the next dish that I'm gonna be doing. And I have more fun when I come into my pantry because I get so many gifts that pertain to food. How fun, like Big Daddy Jake's Texas Pit. People know that Michael loves hot stuff. And look at this. Somebody sent me a bottle of their seasoning, great bottle of Cajun Cookin, and put my picture on it. Isn't that funny? I think I'm gonna take this with me too. Oh, and I got a peanut butter spread in there. All that stuff looks and sounds so good. Takes me a long time to use all that stuff up though. All right. Today is all about Cajun cooking, and the first dish I'm gonna make is Cajun Seafood Balls. So we're gonna start with a half a pound of shrimp that have been peeled, deveined, and cooked. So in here they go, and you'll wanna make sure that you drain these good. We don't want it soupy. All right, and we're gonna kinda just coarsely chop these. Okay, those minced up. Easy, real easy, because they're tender, young shrimp, and you can see I was using a smaller shrimp. All right, so into our bowl it goes. So we're gonna add 1 can of drained crab meat. That canned crab meat has a lot of flavor and kick to it. And then we're gonna add 1 of the small cans of salmon. So these are gonna be really, really meaty little seafood bites. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of dried parsley for pretty. All right, next I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. And I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of a coarse grainy mustard. And then I'm gonna add, believe it or not, 1/4 of a cup of bottled tartar sauce. And now I'm gonna add 1/2 a cup of breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna add some pepper, some fresh ground pepper. All right, now I'm gonna add a little salt and a small can of niblet corn that's been drained. These are getting more interesting, aren't they? All right, now we're just gonna stir this up. That tartar sauce is gonna help bind them together. All right, now we're gonna add 1½ cups of rice, cooked rice. You can use leftover, you know, it doesn't matter if it's cold or this is a little warm from me cooking it this morning, but it's perfectly fine to use cold leftover rice. Now I'm gonna add 1 egg, And that egg is gonna help bind our seafood balls together. All right, now you can see how that egg has really given it kind of a sticky texture. Now I'm gonna take my other egg that I have here and I'm gonna beat it up, and I've got extra breadcrumbs, and we're just gonna form our seafood into balls, just like that. And I'm gonna roll them in the egg, and then I'm gonna roll them into the breadcrumbs. And then I'm gonna just move them onto the plate and let them sit. Okay, these are looking good. And if you don't have a deep fryer, you know, a regular deep fryer, it'll work out well frying it on top of the stove, because it's not gonna take that long for them. So it would be a very controllable dish to fry without making too big of a mess. And I'm gonna drop in just a few in each basket. Okay, that looks like enough. Gonna turn that up a little bit. And then drop the others in, and then down they go. That won't take any time. Man alive, I've got more bowls spread out. They say just for me to make hot dogs, I'll use every dish in the kitchen. And for some reason I do. Okay, I think these are probably completely ready. Look at those. I'm just gonna let them drain for about a second on that paper towel, and then I'm gonna transfer them onto our serving dish. This could be a meal too. Look at that. And I bet they're as hot as a $3 pistol, but I can't hardly wait to taste one. Look at that. They're just really, really pretty. Oh my gracious. And they're really, really good. Well, I'm gonna finish eating mine, and then when we come back, I'm gonna show you a dish that's very New Orleansy. And it's gonna involve these tomatoes. So I'll see y'all back in a second. Now, if everybody's back from a break or getting you something to drink, if you're ready to cook, I'm ready. Now, I told you before break that I'm gonna be making a Louisiana dish that has to do with tomatoes. And the dish is jambalaya. Now, Louisiana is a self-proclaimed capital of jambalaya, but I think you're gonna like my recipe. I think you're gonna find it easy and simple and full of Louisiana flavor. We're gonna start with a cup of rice, and we're gonna add to it a half a teaspoon of thyme, and that's dried thyme. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of dehydrated dried onions. We're gonna add 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. We're gonna add, and this is what's gonna give it its kick, we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So hold on to your hats, y'all. It's gonna have a little kick to it. And then I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of crushed beef bouillon cubes. And then we're gonna add 1 bay leaf. And then we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm gonna just mix that up. Now we're just gonna put that in our pot, and then we're gonna add 2½ cups of water. And I'm gonna add a 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And then we're gonna add a 14-ounce can of tomato sauce. Now you can't get any simpler than that. All right, now to this, I'm gonna add what really gives it a wonderful flavor, and that's smoked sausage. Now I'm using like a smoked breakfast sausage, but in Louisiana, they would more than likely use chorizo or an andouille smoked sausage, which is really flavorful. I just love this regular smoked sausage, and this is what we use in our low country balls. To me, the flavor is just wonderful. All right, so we're gonna just stir that together and let this come to a boil, and I'm gonna cover it, and then I'm gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And right now, I'm gonna do a little quick swap on us because I've got some that's been simmering. And we're gonna put this over here, and I'm gonna turn that on and let it cook for about 20 minutes, and then I'll finish it up. All right, now you can see how it looks after about 20 minutes. Now we're gonna add one more ingredient to our jambalaya, some shrimp. And I'm leaving tails on for mine. You can take your tails off if you like, but I just love having a little handle to help me eat those shrimp. And of course, Michael, when I do that, he just fusses and fusses and fusses because he doesn't like anything to slow him down. So in go our shrimp, and it'll take just a few minutes for those. It'll actually take a little bit longer for these because they're not going directly into a pot of boiling water. So that will take a few minutes. So I'm going to round me up a bowl because I can't wait to taste it. It's been a right chilly day here today. The wind has been whipping something fierce. In fact, I could hear it whipping down the chimney as I was standing up here cooking this morning, and Lady Bird's a little nervous out there because of all the wind. So this is gonna be just perfect for this kind of day. It looks so wonderful. Look at that. Just look at that. And oh, I love serving it in white bowls because of the red colors. They just stand out and look so pretty against the white china. There's lots of stories about this dish. One story goes that it came from the Spanish when they took over Louisiana. And I can almost understand that because to me, that looks like I would think a Spanish dish would look like. You know, I don't care really who gets credit for it though, as long as we have the dish. And I mean, it's hot. Look at that smoke, and if I'm not careful, I'm gonna burn my mouth. But look at that. This is just perfect for this day. I'm gonna have to take a quick break, y'all, but don't go anywhere because the next dish is a dessert dish that's gonna set you on fire. Hey, welcome back, y'all. And in case you've just joined me, today's show is a tribute to Louisiana cooking. I've made a wonderful meal, but now it's time to put the dessert together. And in order to put this dessert together, I'm gonna need some ice cream. And I'm gonna use vanilla ice cream. But today's dessert is really a hot dessert. And this dish is famous in New Orleans, and it's bananas Foster. I just love it, and it's so simple to make, y'all. We're gonna start our heat off fairly high, and we're gonna melt a stick of butter. Now, you know this is a good recipe if it's starting with a stick of butter. And we're gonna let that melt. While that's melting, I'm gonna cut that down just a little bit. While that's melting, I'm gonna get our bananas ready. And I'm just gonna peel them, cut them in half, and then split them, just like that. I'm gonna add a half a cup of brown sugar. I wanna pack that in there good. You can see that butter's starting to cook. Looks delicious already. Now I'm just gonna slip our bananas in there and cook them until they're kind of soft. Here, I think we can just do that. Yeah, there we go. And while those are cooking, I'm gonna measure out a half a cup of dark rum. That's what's gonna give it the fire and the flavor. And you can see that that butter and brown sugar is really starting to incorporate. And I'm just gonna flip our bananas around over it. Bananas is probably the fruit that I love to eat the most, but of course naturally it's not nearly as low calorie as an apple or something like that. I mean, you might know my favorite fruit would be one of the most fattening. That is starting to look real good. Now I'm gonna pour in that half a cup of rum. And you never wanna pour the liquor directly from the bottle into your pan. Now we're gonna set it on fire. And I'm gonna kind of stand back for this one because y'all will want to make sure that you're very careful while you're fixing this dish. Be careful of your eyelashes and your hair, girls, because if you're like me and wear a lot of hairspray, your whole head could go up in flames. Look how pretty that is, though. Okay, our flame has dissipated. I can smell that rum in those bananas. And now it's time for us to fix a plate and see what our bananas Foster tastes like. Homemade pound cake would be fabulous with this, but the store-bought cake works nicely too. All right, my ice cream has gotten nice and soft. You know, you just can't go wrong with ice cream. Look at that. Just look at that. Oh, wee. Look at that. I like lots of juice with mine. Okay. Oh. This is so good, y'all. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to put this dish together. While I'm eating this, y'all, go grab you a cup of coffee. And when we come back, I'm gonna give you some good Cajun gift ideas that you won't wanna miss. Make this tonight, y'all. Nothing says a gift like one that comes from your kitchen. I made the jambalaya today, and if you want to give somebody a nice little gift, you can go to the flea market or yard sale or an antique shop and find all kind of beautiful little jars. Now I've put our jambalaya mix in the jar. There's the rice, the parsley, the dried onions, everything it takes. The only thing that the recipient of your gift will have to have is the meat and the tomatoes. It'll make a wonderful little gift. And if you want to have a nice kind of bitey sauce to go along with those crab balls, you can make a quick sauce by putting a half a cup of mayonnaise in the food processor along with a tablespoon of vinegar, a little bit of onion, 2 cloves of fresh garlic, 2 seeded jalapeno peppers, and about a half a teaspoon of sugar. Pulse it until all the ingredients are mixed up. Put it in a jar and stick it in a little basket. It's gonna make a great gift, but now this gift will have to be refrigerated. So make sure your friend that you're giving it to knows that. I hope that you've enjoyed the tribute today, not to just Louisiana, but Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas. And we hope that you'll enjoy these recipes. The jambalaya is so very, very good. And the seafood balls, oh my goodness. But I have to tell you, today's showstopper is that bananas Foster. I can see why it's on y'all's menus down there. So until next time, y'all, we send you love and best dishes from our kitchen to yours.